I hope not. But, I mean, it doesn't appear that the people who are running the military, the people who are running the Revolutionary Guard are suddenly folding and putting their hands up and saying, let the peaceniks take over the country, Michael.
Traffic lights, I'm going to say to you, Steve. Traffic lights. The Mossad controls the traffic cameras all over Iran.
Saw that story.
And that's how they found where Khamenei is. I'm told that the conclave of experts was actually blown up, the one that was meant to choose the successor. And I don't believe he's chosen yet. Khamenei's Svengali, a fellow called Ali Laranjani, is actually a character in the TV series Tehran. He's the head mullah in that. So I think art is imitating life and life is imitating art. He's the bloke who's really running Iran. He's so deep underground.
I saw the poor woman who's in charge of directing that program, Tehran. She's been found dead.
Yes, they said that she suicided, but other people have other theories. It's very spooky, the whole thing. But the main character is a woman who looks very like Kosha. I'm sorry to say this, but
my
Tamar, and she's running around Tehran at the moment. And I think the possibilities of being really radical changes in Iran. They say there are only 3 members of the Supreme Council left, and all of the others are dead by the Mossad's hands, and the 3 that are there are actually Mossad agents, but they don't know that each other are working for them.
Kosha, I've talked up Marco Rubio this week. I thought the 2 appearances that he made where he was just talking to the media, I think he was in the halls of Congress there somewhere. I'm less impressed with Pete Hesketh, but Donald Trump seems to be towing the line. How have you assessed those 3 this week when we're, 5 days into this conflict?
It is very interesting. So Trump, I think many people, and not just his base, the whole country, this remains very controversial, very unpopular. It's now, as the dust is settling, it's sort of falling along partisan lines. But a lot of people are scratching their heads because this is diametrically opposed to what he ran on and what his position has been. Anti-war, no regime change. I don't want to go out taking other countries. I want to focus on domestic issues. So they're confused.
But when he says, if I didn't move, they'd have a nuclear weapon in 2 weeks. I mean, even the base is going to go, well, thank God you did.
His problem is he said that during Operation Midnight Hammer. And the word he used was we obliterated them when they went in and did that 12-day bombing. And then 6 months later, people were like, wait, didn't you just tell us that you defanged them?
But Americans
so that's
like success, and there aren't boots on the ground.
So far.
He will. Well, if there's a few CIA special operators or Mossad special operators calling down the weapons on drone factories and missile factories that you were talking about before,
they wanted to.
That's useful. As long as they're out in 4 weeks, Trump will declare victory.
They want an off-ramp. And just to bring it back to Rubio, what you asked about, he created a bit of a firestorm when in that moment that you're talking about in the halls of Congress.
Around Israel.
He basically said that Israel forced our hand. He didn't say it in so many words, but that's how it was perceived, and that got a lot of blowback, and he's done some cleanup in Al-7 after that on those comments.
So it's certainly an impressive personality. I mean, if you throw forward to the next presidential election and who they're going to choose, he'd have his head in front at the moment. What do you know about this idea that the Kurds have been armed? I was talking to Major General McLaughlin before. He says that really worries him. If they've come over the border from Iraq,
well, I don't know why it should worry him, because the Kurds have always been armed. They've always been betrayed. They may come over the border, but they're not going to make the central decisions about who's running Iran. You just watch for that Ali Laranjani. When his head pops up, he was Khamenei's darling. He really knows how to run the state. If he pops out of the bunker, unless the Israelis kill him or the Americans kill him by bombing, that's what's really going to come out of this conflict.
Let's come back to Australia, the political ramifications of this. I mean, Anthony Albanese was quick to jump in and say that he supported the American involvement and what they were doing. Some of his critics, I'm sure, from the hard left, Michael, inside the party, whether they be in Canberra or in the wider party, would not have been very happy about that.
No, they weren't, but I think Albo and his dominant socialist left group have shifted because of what the Iranians did here in Australia. I think Albo was genuinely shocked that they came and blew up places here in Australia.
Or the Das
synagogue and the childcare centre in Sydney. And you've got, on the other hand, now people like Raff Ciccone, the senator, have the courage to come out and speak for what I regard as mainstream Australian values.
Yeah, he's had a go at the ABC too, which is really interesting. I mean, here he is. Let's have a listen to what he said when he made that, on that speech in Parliament last night.
Yet what we have seen this week from the Australian Greens and prominent voices who rush to condemn Australia for supporting action claiming international law has been violated. This is naked hypocrisy that undermines our nation and its values. We have lost our moral compass. What is truly political is neutrality in the face of evil.
Where's Labor been hiding that bloke?
Well, he's a good guy. There should be more of him. If there had been more people speaking out like him over the last 2.5 years, as they would in the Hawke, Beazley, even Shorten or Gillard eras, Labor would have a different impression in the public. They're lucky they've got 93 seats and that the difference between One Nation and the Liberals is so strong. I'm not sure the fact that so many people, so many Australians have doubts about Albo Labor, that it's going to actually work, even with Pauline being so increasingly popular.
Kosha, what about this idea that we're funding these mosques that are holding memorial services for that dead butcher who the Americans, thank Christ, killed? I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think, we talk about this.
$700,000.
Yes, and we talk about this all the time, that these are many downstream consequences of immigration policy, and you just create this patchwork society, and there's this coalition of the fringes then that ends up being the backbone of a political party, and then you just wind up pandering to them, either
So,
over.
Michael, how does this money get flushed around?
They go electorate by electorate and work out the identity groups that...
Well, that was in the seat of Bruce, and that was announced during the election.
And it was by Julian Hill,
Yes.
the minister who's responsible for this. And then Julian, a few days ago, remember, as the conflict started, he came out and said, look, we can't give up Australia Day to One Nation. We can't give up the Australian flag to One Nation. We have to be more patriotic. So I think he's learned a lesson too. So if he and Albo have shifted back towards the centre, it's better for Australia.
That's the case, and we had Caroline Marcus actually showed him announcing that. Thank you both for coming in. Appreciate it very much.